Welcome to today's edition of the Author's Corner, brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM The Word. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I welcome Katie J. Trent back to Author's Corner. She has now written the book, A Merry and Bright Adventure, a Christmas Devotional, which is published by Whitaker House, and she'll tell you more about the book and how to get it at the end of the program. Let me tell you just a little bit about Katie. Her mission is to inspire women to build strong, faith-filled families. In writing and speaking, she draws on a wealth of knowledge and experience from over a decade of counseling, ministry, and church planting. So, with all the exciting sights, sounds, and smells of Christmas time, it can be hard to stay focused on the real reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ. So Katie is going to offer a solution to help families reconnect and rediscover the joy of Christmas together with A Merry and Bright Adventure, a Christmas devotional for family, faith, food, and fun. Welcome back to Author's Corner, Katie.
Thanks so much for having me. I love being here.
A pleasure to talk with you about how to make the Christmas celebration less stressful. So how does your book, A Merry and Bright Adventure, help parents today to be more comfortable with this time of celebration?
Well, I think most of us genuinely want our kids to know Jesus better and to look more like him at the end of it. And it's so easy to get bogged down with all of the activities and events and gifts and forget really why we're celebrating. So the book is a very easy, open-and-go activity book for you to be able to teach your kids who Jesus is, why we're celebrating this time of year, and how we can look more like him at the end of it. So it's filled with family devotions that are simple and interactive with discussion questions, and we're actually teaching you how the sights and sounds of the holidays, kind of a little bit of history of how they got started, but more importantly, how they can actually help us remember the truths about Jesus and learn more about the Bible along the way, so that when we're walking through the holiday season as a family, we have all of these beautiful reminders of his love and his promises and his faithfulness, so that we really keep our focus on Jesus.
Well, I know that there are little poems about the candy cane and things like that. Is that what you're talking about, like with the sights and sounds of Christmas?
Yeah, so we take all of the common Christmas traditions. So why do we celebrate with a Christmas tree? Why do we have, stars or angels? Why do we have Christmas ornaments? Why do we say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays? So we take all of those traditions that are very familiar, especially in Western culture, and help you understand a little bit about how they got started, and then again, how they actually can remind us of Jesus. So, for example, a Christmas tree, which we see everywhere. Imagine every time you see a Christmas tree, remembering that it was an evergreen tree because God's promises are eternal. It is shaped as a triangle because we celebrate Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are three in one. And then it points us and our eyes upward because we're meant to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus all year long. So now, every time you see a Christmas tree, and more importantly, your kids see a Christmas tree, those are the things that they're remembering, not wondering about the presents they're going to get or different things. And so each of those symbols helps us to know a little bit more about Jesus and why he came and what his promises are for us. And so it really just transforms your entire perspective on how you walk through the holidays. And then we also teach you different ways to share the gospel with these Christmas traditions, like a Christmas card, how we can write prayers for the people we're sending Christmas cards. And when we receive Christmas cards, we can use that as a prayer wall to remember to pray daily for those people who've sent them to us. So it's really just taking all the things we love about the holidays and putting Christ at the center of them all.
Well, I know I'm not a very creative person, so I can see where your book would thoroughly be a great tool for families to refocus. And I just love what you've already shared about the Christmas tree. And I can imagine other people, even like myself, who don't really know the origin of a lot of these traditions, and just how educational that'll be for parents, and maybe even excite them again in bringing that into their family traditions and activities.
Yeah, absolutely. And my husband hated Christmas time when we got together. We've been together almost 20 years, and he did not like any of it, and I loved all of it.
Okay.
And so when we had kids, it was this constant conversation of how do we really lead our kids in a way that's important to us and disciple them. and reclaim Christmas for what it's truly meant to be. And so that was really the inspiration behind the book, is how we could come together as a family. And you say you're not creative. Honestly, I'm not creative either. It is something where it's come through my prayers as a mother of saying, God, help me teach my kids. Help me make these lessons tangible. Show me how to disciple them. And that's where these ideas come from. It is not because I am a super creative or crafty person. So these are meant for anyone and everyone, and they're meant to be easy. So we make the book very simple, open and go. The activities, the family activities we include with each chapter are simple things. For example, one is a flashlight walk, because we're talking about how the star led the wise men to Jesus. And so we're talking about letting Jesus lead and be Lord of our lives. And the flashlight walk, inside or outside, teaches them to follow after Jesus. And, you know, if you're close to the flashlight, it's easier to see the light, know where to go. And if you get too far away, it's harder to see. So we're talking about staying close to Jesus and building a personal, intimate relationship with him.
Wow.
And so there are things like that where it's very simple, very easy, fun for all ages, and just a way to make beautiful memories centered around Christ during Christmas time.
Well, today I am talking with Katie J. Trent regarding her book, A Merry and Bright Adventure, a Christmas Devotional for Family, Faith, Food, and Fun. And it's published by Whitaker House. You're listening to Author's Corner, and I'm Roberta Foster. Well, we know that the Christmas celebration is often very overwhelming, hectic, trying to get so much done in a short period of time. What type of advice do you have for parents who do feel overwhelmed during the holiday season?
I would say, first off, take a breath and remember that less is more. And so whether you're comfortable and you've done Advent, holiday traditions, or whether this is the first year and you're trying to do something different, just start where you are and then give yourself lots of grace. I have been doing Christmas devotionals with my kids for many, many years now, and I can tell you I have never once done every day through that Christmas period.
Okay.
I miss days, we get busy, and that's okay because it's something fun, especially with this book, where you're going to want to do it year after year after year, and so you'll have plenty to look forward to. So don't stress it, and then realize that there are so many little moments that I think we take for granted when we're trying to plan all the big, expensive holiday things. And so this book really is meant to center around your home, center around your family, center around the things that matter most, and remind you why you're celebrating, because it's easy to get caught up in all of that busyness and chaos of the holidays. And so my hope is that this will really help change the way your family experiences Christmas time year after year, and spread the beauty of the gospel, the good news of Christ, to those around you in a way that truly has an impact eternally for those as well.
Wonderful. Well, you mentioned the word Advent, so there are many traditions associated with the Advent calendar, the Advent ring, and things of that nature. How does your book incorporate the Advent season?
Yeah, so if you follow a traditional Advent, it is divided up into the 4 traditional sections of hope, peace, joy, and love. So you can follow along that way if you do a wreath and candle lighting or whatever you may do. Everything is kind of centered around there. But if you don't, so my family didn't grow up. I didn't have any idea once I got saved what the word Advent actually meant. We didn't have, our church didn't do something for Advent. And so for our family, we just started at December 1st and looked for ways to make these memories and disciple our kids and teach them about Jesus. And so that's kind of how you can do it. You can start any day and pick it up, and it's open and go. So even there are things you were probably going to want to pull up, in July. And there's still ways that you can connect with the book and make the recipes and have the conversations. For example, when we're talking about ornaments, we're talking about how they got started with Adam and Eve Day Festival. And we're talking about how, in that one, we make a delicious, simple fruit smoothie. And we're talking about how we're called to live out our life with the fruit of the Spirit and know people by their fruit. And so be paying attention to who, we're spending time with and how we're living our life. And so there's a lot of lessons like that throughout that really you can do any time of year as well.
Well, I will comment that the book is beautiful. There are so many bright, beautiful pictures that even a young child would enjoy flipping the pages and seeing all of this. Of course, that might put a little pressure on the parents if they do that. Hey, can we do this?
Yes, they ask for it.
Yeah.
That is a hazard.
So there are a lot of recipes, and they look fairly simple to accomplish. And so I can see that this would be such a benefit, a blessing for parents, whether it's maybe even a single family parent where it's just a mom or just a dad that doesn't have the whole cooking thing down pat, where it would be nice to be able to incorporate that into some of their family time.
Yes, absolutely. And grandparents, teachers, there's so many different ways to use it. And we do include grocery shopping lists in the back and supply lists. So we've literally done everything we can to make it super simple and easy for you to use the book. And we include 31 different types of recipes for this, even though there's only 25 devotions. So if you have like health or dietary restrictions or just different things in your family, whatever works easier, we really tried to make it easy to incorporate them.
Fantastic. And so what is one of your favorite family traditions?
We have so many. We love to make cookies together and decorate them, and we love to bless our neighbors. So we started a tradition where every year we make holiday treats and we hand deliver them to the neighbors just with a little blessing note. And that has become something our neighbors look forward to and we look forward to as a family. So that's probably one of our favorite ways to just share the love of Jesus.
Well, some people get so stressed out there isn't a lot of fun in the holiday season, so I can see where this will just help people to kind of settle. It would make a great gift idea, of course, for this year, next year, whenever. But you have a section of your book called Putting the Fun Back into the Fundamentals of Family Discipleship. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, I have learned that my kids, when I'm doing something and I'm teaching them a lesson in a fun way, they remember it. And so there's lessons that I've taught them where because we tied it in with a baking recipe or a fun family activity, I can refer back to that. And it may have been 5 years ago that I taught it, but they actually remember what I was trying to teach them because we had fun. And so it made almost like a Polaroid memory, if you will, that sticks. And so when you put the fun in the fundamentals of family discipleship, it shifts the way you interact. It strengthens your family relationship, and it just brings the Bible to life in a very fun and active way so that when your kids look back on their childhood, they remember all of these biblical truths. They've seen their Creator in everything, and they've experienced the joy of walking out their faith with Jesus in a way that can't be stripped away from it. It can't be argued out. It can't be taken away because it's so interwoven in their lives.
Wonderful. So once again, I've been talking with Katie J. Trent about her book, A Merry and Bright Adventure, a Christmas Devotional. So Katie, tell our listeners how they can find out more about this book and others that you've written.
Yeah, so my books are available everywhere books are sold, but the easiest way to find is on my website, which is just my name, katiejtrent.com, and I'm on social media at Katie J. Trent as well. So I'd love to connect with you and encourage you, and I have lots of resources to support you in your family discipleship journey.
Wonderful. Again, the book is A Merry and Bright Adventure, a Christmas Devotional for family, faith, food, and fun. And I've been talking with Katie J. Trent. We certainly thank Whitaker House for giving us a copy of the book to talk about. And again, it is a beautiful book and so filled with great recipes, suggestions, and inspiration. And so, Katie, thank you so much for being with us on Author's Corner.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Roberta Foster on the Author's Corner. And if you missed any part of today's interview or would like to hear it again, you can find it on your favorite podcast platform or through kneo.org. Or perhaps it'd be something you'd like to share with someone else. Thank you so much for joining me. Be back with us again next time on Author's Corner.